Hey, it's Maria from goalietrainingpro.com. I'm an exercise physiologist who specializes in off-ice training for hockey goalies. So basically, I help you do the right training off the ice so that you can win more games with fewer injuries on the ice. And today we actually are talking about the importance of the ankle. I'm going to make a little three-part series here. And this first one is really explaining the different ranges of motion in the ankle and why it's so important that you have good mobility there. A lot of you worry about hip mobility so much but don't really pay attention to your ankle, and if your ankle isn't functioning the way it should be, it's going to be putting more stress on not only your knee but also your hip, adding to wear and tear and decreasing your ability to move on the ice as efficiently as you should. So basically your ankle has 4 or 5 ranges of motion. So one is dorsiflexion, so it's when you kind of decrease this angle here when you're flexing your ankle, what people often think of as flexing their ankle. And that's what you need for a good ready position to get nice and low without kind of being towards your heels. We also can point our toe, which is what's called plantar flexion, and most of us aren't really limited in that range. Then there's inversion, which is like if you roll your ankle like that, that's an inversion sprain. So that range of motion is inversion, but it's also, here. So you can see how being strong on this side is important when you're doing, your lateral pushes, your deceleration. You need to have that stability. And then the other is eversion. So eversion is here, kind of if your bottom of your foot turns out, or like that would be eversion. So you want to make sure you have those ranges because that's going to have an impact, when you're in your ready stance and keeping your blade on your inside edge on the ice. Then the other range of motion is rotation. So I'm not talking about this. That's really rotation of the tibia, but a little bit of rotation in that mortise and tenon joint of the ankle. Again, you are not supposed to have a lot of rotation there, and when you actually do get too much rotation, like your skate blade gets stuck in a rut or something, that's when you tend to get that high ankle sprain, because it springs that. There's a ligament across here and it springs that, and that's what gives you the high ankle sprain. So those are the ranges of motion that you need, even for your training, and in particular, it's this dorsiflexion that I'm interested in. If you don't have that dorsiflexion, which a lot of athletes don't have, and they have no idea that they don't, then even when you're running, when you're doing your agility drills, when you're doing your squatting, you're going to compensate. A lot of times people compensate by turning their foot out a little bit and then bringing their knee straight over. But that's adding to torque on the knee. It's putting stress on the inside of the knee, and it's changing how you use your hip. So really important that you have all 4 ranges working nicely. In the next set of videos, I'm going to show you some ways to work on improving those.